All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. It's been a slow week, and I've been doing a lot of stuff around the house, so I figured I'd wait till I had something to actually talk about. I know a lot of other YouTubers just regurgitate a lot of the same stuff, and I hope to never be that person. And so I wanted to make sure I had something legitimate to tell you guys. Now, if you could, please like the video. It's really important to like my video and also to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will be notified when I have new videos go up. So today's video is all about the manufactured hype for the Flash movie and why I am convinced this is going to be a mediocre at best film. But we have a few things to look at today, and we'll talk about the upfront that was done by Warner Brothers Discovery yesterday. So the first thing I wanted to show you was something that Bradley Cooper talked about. Apparently, he was offered the role of Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy, and he turned it down. Now, I don't know why he would do that. I'm not sure he would be the Lex Luthor type. I would like to see something a little different from Gene Hackman and, what's his name, who they had in Batman vs. Superman. I want to see somebody more menacing like we see in this picture. He could be a little older, but I want him to be more menacing. I want him to be a show of force, not just, the Lexes that we've already seen in films. If you really want to truly do something new and original, do something like that instead. Bradley Cooper, I don't think, fits that role. I don't think he's big enough. He's kind of a skinny guy. And I want to see someone who's more filled out, bald, and someone who could be menacing, who you might see as someone who could go toe-to-toe with Superman. All right, now this is interesting. I sure hope this is not true. But it says that the actor Nicholas Holt he recently himself confirmed that he missed out on the role of Bruce Wayne in the Batman. Then went to Pattinson instead. Personally, I don't see either of these guys as Batman, to be honest with you. I would see this guy more as Batman. He would have to bulk up than Robert Pattinson. But, they gave us who they gave us, and we're going to have to live with it. Hopefully in the Batman sequel, I've talked about this many times, for that movie to really work, there has to be definitely some growth in that character. He can't be the Batman who walks up and knocks on the door of the Iceberg Lounge. I've argued this point with many people. I've been following Batman since 1987, and Batman would never walk up to the Iceberg Lounge and knock on the front door. People said it's because he was new. He was only in his second year. I would argue that that's more of a reason to be in the shadows than it would be to just go knock on the door. But Nicholas Holt is now apparently up for the role as Superman. I definitely don't want him as Superman. His face is not square enough. He doesn't really have the look of Clark Kent. Again, he's one of those metrosexual-looking people. I don't see him as a person who could play a role like that. And this was confirmed by Deadline's Justin Kroll. So we'll see what comes to fruition. There are a lot of names that are in the hat right now to play Superman in Superman Legacy, and only time will tell who that person actually is. And hopefully once they announce it, we're going to see them in the suit, and they're going to have to, here's what's going to happen, and this is true. This movie, Superman Legacy, I think is the most important film that Warner Brothers has ever put out. If this film fails, everything is going to crumble. If it succeeds, and that's a big if, because I personally don't think it's going to succeed, but if it does, and it's good, then they have to build upon that. And I don't see this guy as Superman. But again, time will tell. All right, now this is one of the things that terrifies me. James Gunn is very vocal on Twitter. He's constantly putting down fans. He's going after people. And this is one of those things that scares me because I see this being something that James Gunn would do. Someone said, this Connor Hellboy era, at Apps Connor said, I am being 100% serious. If this happens in James Gunn's DCU, I will pull a Herzog and eat a effing shoe. When James Gunn gives us this moment as their first meeting in the DCU, and it shows Batman and Superman having coffee at a restaurant. James Gunn says, Please tell me the specifics of what needs to be there to see you eat a shoe. I would not be surprised if we saw something like this. I remember one of the end credit scenes in the Avengers was them all in a cafe together. I do not want the DCU to be like the MCU in any way, shape, or form. And this is the stuff that terrifies me. And the fact that James Gunn is playing along tells you he does not take these characters seriously. But again, time will tell. He's got a lot to prove. Now, I find this funny. They're using Ben Affleck, even though he's being thrown out of the DCU, they're using him and his movie that he just had released to promote the Flash movie. So Puma is releasing Bait X, the Flash X Puma RSX. And this is off of the movie that is out there right now that is apparently you can watch it on Amazon for free. And I haven't checked the movie out, but they're using his 80s movie to promote this stuff. And there's a lot of questionable marketing behind this. They're really doing a marketing push, and I would really like to see the amount of money that was spent on the Flash. Like, they're banking all in on the Flash, and I don't think it's going to do nearly as well as they think it is. And it stunts like this to where I believe that it is going to fail and that they don't have as much faith in the film as they think, so they're trying to push it to put this just this fake image out there to get people excited to go see it. So here's the big story I wanted to talk about, and this ties into the whole point of this video. Stephen King came out yesterday and said, I got an advanced screening of The Flash today. As a rule, I don't care a lot for superhero films, but this one is special. It's heartfelt, funny, and eye-popping. I loved it. It's the funny part that I don't like. I don't want my DC films to be funny. I do not want this to copy the MCU, okay? And that's what they were already trying to do, especially with the second, what do you call it? The second film with what's his name, Zachary Levi. That second film that he did, Shazam 2, was goofy. It was way goofier than the first, and I was not expecting that. And it does look like Warner Brothers is really trying to copy the MCU, and that's why they brought James Gunn over, because of his goofiness. And I definitely don't want that in the Flash now, or in the Superman film. Now, on the other side of this, you've got James Gunn, who came out this last week and said he is basing his version of Superman on the Christopher Reeve version of the character. Now, some people got on his case about the aesthetics, that we need to move on from a 44-year-old film, which I agree. Do something fresh and original. Don't rehash what's already out there. And again, we need to have somebody that at least looks the role. But this comment by Stephen King is what has me nervous about the DCU, and especially this Flash movie. So let's talk about this. I have this incredible fear that they're going to make everything goofy and silly. And the fact that they're using people like Tom, what's his name? I can't think of people's names today. But what's his name from Top Gun? He has come out and said he loves this movie. David Zaslav said he saw it like 3 times and loves it. You've got, Stephen King himself coming out talking about it now. All of the reviews at this special viewing like a month ago, everybody said it was off the charts amazing, that it's better than probably any superhero film that is ever put out. I am now convinced these are all manufactured, paid for, just reviews, just to get people excited. I do not think it is going to personally live up to the hype, and I think it is going to be disappointing. Now, there are some things that I've heard out there, I do not know if they are true, that could tie into all of this. One of those being that they do definitively make The Flash canon to Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I already think has to happen. And the reason I think that has to happen is because The Flash travels back in time. He did it in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but did not do it in Justice League. In fact, he was sidelined completely in that film, and they didn't give him anything to do. He was integral to Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he did save the entire league by traveling back in time, and that's where he realized he could do this, and I believe that's going to play into the conversation he has with Bruce at the beginning of the Flash movie before he decides to go back and try and change everything. So I do think it is going to have to be canon for it to all make sense. I do believe at the end that they're going to erase everything and go in a completely different direction. And the only character we're going to see trail over into the new DCU is going to be Ezra Miller as the Flash. And out of all of the characters, I think he's the worst one and the one that nobody really wants to move forward. And I do think they're going to confuse audiences with the movie. And I'm still excited to see, Michael Keaton back as Batman, but I'm not excited for what the film is going to accomplish at the end of the film. There are rumors that we're going to get to see the new Batman, and, I talked about this in my last video. All the other characters are going to exist in this universe, and I don't know how they're going to make all of this work and make it sound good, because I'll tell you, when Zack Snyder did this, he got lambasted for it, and now that Gunn is doing it, everybody thinks it's amazing. At least the Gunn people do. Now, going forward, this is going to be very interesting. I think if The Flash doesn't do well, they may rethink everything. But I do believe they're going to move forward with Superman Legacy, and if that movie fails, I think we're going to see Warner Brothers specifically take a break from DC stuff for a long time and maybe just do standalone things, Elseworld stuff like the Joker 2 and the Batman, and not do any shared universe for a very long time. They need to get people in there who respect these characters, and I have yet to see anything from James Gunn that says he respects these characters. He wants to bring in these second-rate characters and build upon them like he did, Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think this is going to be the blockbuster they expect it to be. I want to be proven wrong. I do. I honestly do. There's a lot of people come in here say that I just wish it for it to fail. I don't, but I also want the finish to what Zack Snyder started. I want that whole Justice League story to be finished out. I want Darkseid versus anything else that they're going to do in the DCU. It's going to be interesting to see. I'll be covering all this stuff going forward, and there's going to be lots of information coming fast, and it's going to be all covered here. So stick to my channel, subscribe, like the video, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as new videos go up. I do appreciate it. We will see you on the next video.